Agroecology is gaining ground fast. It's really amazing to be in the beginnings, just to be a part of something that I can see is going to make a real change in the world. I'm Pezzini with a major in agroecology. I have minors in chemistry and community and international development. Growing up, I'm from a very suburban city, and I never really had any kind of experience in farming or agriculture in any sort of sense. And then I started taking classes here, and I realized how many different fields that agriculture and agroecology sort of touch upon, and how, to me, it sort of seems like the future of agriculture, that agroecology looks at agriculture more of like a social and physical and scientific movement, as opposed to just let's put food in the ground and we grow it for people and we sell it at a grocery store. It looks at it more of a holistic viewpoint, trying to shorten the distance between consumer and producer. As I started taking classes, I realized that the issues of agriculture and of climate change and all of these things within our environment is so much more complex than is made out to be, and I couldn't stop learning about these things. I couldn't stop taking as many classes as I could. I wanted to gain more understanding of both the biophysical realm and of the social realm, which is why I've added my 2 minors. Agroecology is a relatively recent science, and in my coursework we've talked a lot about how nobody really knows what it is at this point. And so to have this name for people to recognize, and to kind of have this establishment for people to go through to learn more about the movement is super important. And it's really inspiring, truly, because I was also an ALC fellow. ALC is the Agroecology and Livelihoods Collaborative, which is sort of like a subsection of the Institute, and in which it was a year-long internship, fellowship. The first half, we were just learning about people in their stories in the Institute that were involved directly or indirectly. We learned how they came to agroecology, what they do now, where they're going, what they want to do. It's truly inspiring to see the work that some people are doing. They're making these differences, and they're making progress towards the ends that they want to see of a more just world for the farmers, a more knowledgeable world for the consumers, and a better food system as a whole. It's really, really amazing to see all of these courses and to get to be a part of them, and to feel the passion that all my professors and all my teachers have shown me through their teaching and through their work outside of the university in food systems and agroecology, in agriculture. There are so many different things to do here on campus and off campus, and I feel like UVM really is trying to provide as many experiences as possible in order to get them experiences that will help them in the real world. I was a part of the UVM climbing team, the recreational climbing team, which is an amazing experience. I highly recommend it, and people are so nice, and rock climbing is an awesome activity to do. I was also part of the outing club for a while, and a semi-involved member of the beekeeping club and the horticulture club. And I didn't even scratch the surface of how many different organizations there are, student-led or otherwise. And the students here are really, really passionate about what they do. You will meet some amazing people who have so many different experiences and who are in so many different fields, and you will find someone or something that you are passionate in, because the breadth of people involved in those clubs in particular is so vast. Something I think that agroecology does really well is the experiential learning side of things. This is one of several orchards on the Hort farm. I was an intern here for a couple years, and after a little bit, Terry came up to me and asked if I wanted to do some research. He had an idea for me, and I said absolutely. And so we started work. We're working with fire blight, which is a bacterial disease of apples, pears, and a couple other fruit trees, which just decimates a tree if left untreated, and will cause blackening of the bark and all the leaves and blossoms to fall off. It's just a really terrible disease. So we're trying to look for an alternative way of controlling the disease by top grafting trees. And so we're just trying to see if removing all of the infected trunk of the tree and replacing it with new, clean scion wood, which is the new inserted branch into the trunk, if that will grow up to be a healthy tree free of disease, and if it's a viable, faster way to replanting an orchard. It was just a lot of coming out here and counting, honestly. During the summers, I was counting disease data, and during the falls, I was counting harvest data. So this past semester, I was writing my honors thesis, and I met with Terry almost weekly to just go over ideas and to have him sort of guide me, because I had never done a project of this size before and of this style, and of like a strict research project that I did all by myself. And it was just a really amazing experience to get to sort of understand how research is performed and what the process looks like. Ultimately, I hope to use my degree to help people. Ultimately, I don't entirely know what job that's going to be, but I know I want to work in between the farmer and the researcher, basically. Because as of now, there exists this huge divide. The farmers don't trust the researchers for good reason. The researchers kind of look down upon the farmers. Some researchers look down upon farmers for also understandable reasons. And I hope to sort of bridge that gap, because both sides have really important knowledge that they can share with the other to help further the field. But right now, the divide is kind of keeping everybody stagnant because of the distrust that exists on both ends of the spectrum. And I hope to sort of fit myself in between those two sides, understand where each of them is coming from, and bridge that divide to get information to farmers and to get information from farmers to researchers, to further the research and to further farming, agriculture. It's a really amazing time, and I feel impassioned to get out there and do something. And it's really inspiring how I can be a part of the movement towards a more just, equitable, and sustainable world.